Imagine a place where two mighty rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates, carve a fertile cradle into the earth. A vast, sun-drenched landscape of golden sands and baked earth. And rising from the heart of this desert, like a mirage made real, is a paradise. A lush, green mountain built by human hands. Towering terraces, overflowing with flowering vines that cascade down the sides like colorful ribbons. Waterfalls, born from the sky, sparkle in the sun as they tumble from one level to the next. The air, thick with the intoxicating scent of jasmine, rose, and ripe figs, is alive with the hum of bees and the cool mist of falling water. This is the legend of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, one of the seven wonders of the ancient world. A marvel so extraordinary, so seemingly impossible, that for over 2 millennia, we have been forced to ask, did it really exist? Or was it merely a dream? A whispered story passed from traveler to traveler, a poetic fantasy born from the desert's longing for green? Tonight, we peel back the layers of time. We will walk the dusty streets of the world's greatest city, explore the mind of a powerful king, and weigh the evidence in a historical detective story. Get comfortable, let your body relax, and your mind open. Long before the rise of Rome, long before the Parthenon stood on its hill, there was Babylon. Its name, Babylon, meant Gate of the Gods. And for a time, it was the largest and most magnificent city on earth. Founded over 4,000 years ago on the banks of the life-giving Euphrates River, Babylon was more than just a city. It was the heart of an empire. A bustling metropolis of over 200,000 souls, its power and prestige were legendary. Its defenses were the stuff of legend. Enormous double walls, so thick, it was said that a 4-horse chariot could make a full turn on top of them. The city was bisected by the wide, blue Euphrates, and at its ceremonial heart, one would find the colossal ziggurat at Eminenki, a temple tower reaching for the heavens, believed to be the inspiration for the biblical Tower of Babel. And then there was the processional way, a sacred road paved with limestone and red breccia, flanked by walls of brilliant blue-glazed bricks. Adorning these walls were depictions of 120 lions, symbols of the goddess Ishtar, their golden manes and snarling mouths seeming to roar silently at all who passed. This path led to the Ishtar Gate, a breathtaking structure of deep lapis lazuli blue, decorated with golden dragons and bulls, a true gateway to the divine. At the center of this splendor stood the royal palace, a sprawling complex of courtyards, administrative halls, and opulent royal quarters. It was here, amidst the grandeur and political power, that our mystery is said to have been born. Among all of Babylon's documented wonders, one stands apart, described not by the Babylonians themselves, but by awestruck foreigners, the Hanging Gardens. A structure so unique, it seemed to defy the very laws of nature. The most enduring story of the gardens is a tale of love. It centers on the mighty king Nebuchadnezzar II, who ruled in the 6th century BCE, a golden age for Babylon. He was a conqueror, a builder, and, as the legend tells it, a devoted husband. His wife, Queen Amytis, came from Media, a mountainous and verdant land in what is now modern-day Iran. Torn from her lush, green homeland of rolling hills and cool forests, she found the flat, sun-scorched plains of Mesopotamia oppressive. The endless expanse of baked earth made her spirit wither. She was homesick. To ease his beloved wife's sorrow, Nebuchadnezzar commanded the impossible. He would not just plant a garden. He would build her a mountain, a green paradise that would rise in steps towards the sky, a reminder of the home she had left behind. The vision was audacious. A series of ascending terraces, each built upon vaulted stone galleries. These galleries would be hollow, filled with deep, rich soil, enough to support not just flowers and shrubs, but large, mature trees, cedars, cypresses, fig trees, and date palms. Imagine this sight, a verdant ziggurat of life in the heart of the city. walkways shaded by olive trees and pomegranate blossoms, the air filled with the scent of blooming almonds and the sweet perfume of roses, and everywhere the sound of water. This was not just a garden. It was an oasis suspended in the air, a testament to a king's love and a queen's longing. It was a declaration that in Babylon, even the landscape would bend to the will of its ruler. But a beautiful story is not proof. For the practical mind, the legend of the Hanging Gardens presents a colossal engineering problem. How, in 600 BCE, could you build and sustain such a structure? First, the foundation. Babylon was built on an alluvial plain. There were no nearby quarries for stone. The primary building material was mud brick, baked in the sun. To support the immense weight of terraces, soil, trees, and water, a revolutionary structure was needed. Ancient writers, like the Greek geographer Strabo, described vaulted galleries made of kiln-fired bricks to prevent water from leaking through and destroying the foundation. They reportedly used multiple layers of waterproofing, a layer of reeds set in bitumen, a natural asphalt, followed by 2 layers of baked brick, and finally, a covering of lead sheets. This would have created a massive, waterproof tray for each level of the garden. But the greatest challenge was irrigation. How do you get water to the top of a 75-foot high structure day after day under the blazing Mesopotamian sun? The Euphrates River was nearby, but lifting that much water against gravity required genius. Historians propose several theories. One is the chain pump. This would have been a large wheel, perhaps turned by slaves or animals, pulling a continuous chain of buckets. The buckets would scoop water from a pool at the base connected to the river, lift it to the top, and empty it into a reservoir. From there, the water would flow down through channels and aqueducts, creating the famous waterfalls and irrigating each terrace. Another, more advanced possibility is the Archimedes screw, a device traditionally credited to the Greek inventor centuries later. However, cuneiform inscriptions from Assyria describe a similar water-lifting screw and used much earlier. It's a bronze spiral turning inside a tube, efficiently raising water as it rotates. Whichever method was used, it would have been a wonder of hydraulic engineering. And why? And yet, for all these detailed descriptions from later writers, the most crucial piece of evidence is missing. The ruins of the gardens have never been found. Not a single stone, not a lead plate, not one of Nebuchadnezzar's own inscriptions, and he was a prolific record keeper, ever mentions building a massive hanging garden. This is where the mystery deepens. For centuries, the debate has raged. On one side, we have the classical writers. 5 ancient historians, including Strabo and Diodorus Siculus, described the gardens in detail. But there's a catch. None of them ever saw it. They were writing centuries after the gardens supposedly withered, basing their accounts on second- or third-hand stories. Even more damning is the silence of those who should have seen it. Herodotus, the father of history, visited Babylon in the 5th century BCE and wrote extensively about its wonders. He describes the walls, the gates, the ziggurat, but not a word about any hanging gardens. How could he miss a 75-foot-high man-made mountain of greenery? Archaeologists have scoured the ruins of Babylon for over a century. They have unearthed the foundations of the palace, the Ishtar Gate, and the processional way. But of the gardens? Nothing. No definitive archaeological evidence has ever been found. This glaring absence of proof led to a revolutionary theory from Dr. Stephanie Daly of Oxford University. After years of studying ancient cuneiform texts, she proposed a startling solution. The Hanging Gardens existed, but they weren't in Babylon. She argues that for centuries, we've been looking in the wrong place. The gardens, she believes, were built 300 miles to the north, in the city of Nineveh, the capital of the rival Assyrian Empire. And they were built not by Nebuchadnezzar, but by the ruthless Assyrian king, Sennacherib, a full century earlier. Sennacherib's own inscriptions boast of a palace without rival and a wonder for all peoples. He describes creating a massive park, planting it with exotic trees and plants from across his empire. Most importantly, he details the incredible engineering he used to water it, a massive 50-mile long canal system and aqueducts to bring water from the mountains, and he explicitly mentions using a bronze water-raising screw. Could it be that the legend of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon is actually a misplaced memory? A conflation of two of Mesopotamia's greatest cities? The Greeks and Romans who chronicled the wonders may have been confused, attributing the garden marvels of Nineveh to the more famous, more notorious city of Babylon. If the gardens did exist, be they in Babylon or Nineveh, what became of them? How could such a wonder of the world vanish? The answer lies in the unforgiving nature of time, war, and the earth itself. If we place the gardens in Babylon, the city's fate was one of slow decline. Conquered by the Persians under Cyrus the Great in 539 BCE, it lost its status as a capital. Later, Alexander the Great captured the city and planned to make it the heart of his new empire, but his sudden death ended that dream. The city was gradually abandoned, its grand structures looted for bricks by later civilizations. The intricate waterworks would have been the first thing to fail. Without constant human intervention, the pumps would stop, the water would cease to flow, and the vibrant green would quickly succumb to the relentless sun and sand. If the gardens were in Nineveh, their end was far more violent and abrupt. In 612 BCE, the city was besieged and utterly destroyed by a coalition of Babylonians, Medes, and Scythians. They sacked the city, burned the palace, and toppled its walls. Sennacherib's wonder for all peoples would have perished in fire and slaughter. The great aqueducts would have been smashed, the gardens left to wither on their terraces, and the entire city was buried beneath the earth, its location lost for over 2,000 years. In either scenario, the result is the same. Stone crumbles, fired brick decays, lead is plundered, and the desert, patient and persistent, reclaims all that is built upon it. The gardens, once a symbol of life, were swallowed by the very landscape they sought to defy. The memory itself began to fade, the facts blurring into legend, until only the dream of the gardens remained. So, does it matter where they were? Does it matter if they were built by Nebuchadnezzar for his queen or by Sennacherib as a show of power? Perhaps not, because whether they were a tangible reality in Babylon, a historical fact in Nineveh, or simply a magnificent myth, the Hanging Gardens left an indelible mark on the human spirit. They represent one of our oldest and most powerful desires, to create paradise on earth. The dream of bringing nature into our cities, of cultivating beauty and life in defiance of a harsh environment. This dream is alive today. Look at the vertical forests growing on the sides of skyscrapers in Milan. Look at the sprawling rooftop gardens in Singapore, creating green ecosystems in the sky. Look at the ambitious plans for green cities that integrate nature into every aspect of their design. These are all echoes of an ancient vision. The same impulse that may have driven a king to build a mountain for his queen continues to inspire architects, engineers, and dreamers today. The Hanging Gardens are a symbol of the ultimate fusion of human ingenuity and the beauty of the natural world. Perhaps the true wonder isn't the physical structure itself, but the enduring power of its story. A story that continues to captivate us, to push us to build our own gardens in the sky, and to remind us of our timeless quest to create harmony between the world we build and the world we were given. As our journey through time comes to a close, we are left suspended, much like the gardens themselves, between history and legend. The clues are scattered, the evidence is silent, and the sands of Mesopotamia keep their secrets well. The Hanging Gardens may be lost to time, their exact location and fate forever sealed in the earth. But their story is not buried. It lives on in the pages of history, in the debates of scholars, and in the quiet moments when we imagine a green wonder rising from a golden desert. Let your mind rest with this beautiful uncertainty. Some mysteries are not meant to be solved, but to be contemplated. They're the spaces where our imagination can wander freely. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon may have vanished from the world, but they will forever exist in the landscape of our dreams. As the pages of history close, may your dreams gently unfold. See you next time.